Welcome to Apple Tree channel. Use your skills. Hello everyone, hello my dear 10th graders. І так, сьогодні у нас з вами розділ Use Your Skills. Працюємо з вами на сторінках 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161. So, use your skills. So the first task is let's do the quiz and see the keys to find out how green you are. Зараз ми дізнаємося, наскільки ви зелені. Мається на увазі, наскільки ви eco-friendly. So, if you had a lot of old newspapers and empty bottles, would you leave them on the pavement, put them in a rubbish bin or recycle them? Якщо у вас багато старих газет і пустих пляшок, ви їх залишите на тротуарі, ви їх покладете, викинете так до сміття, or recycle them, або переробите. If somebody, обирайте свій варіант. If somebody offered to give you one of the following as a gift, which would you choose? Якби хтось вам запропонував щось подарувати в якості подарунку, то що б ви обрали? A big fast car, motorbike or a bicycle? 3. So if you were in the middle of a city and wanted to go somewhere 1 or 2 kilometers away. Якби ви були всередині міста, знаходились посеред міста, і ви б хотіли піти кудись 1-2 кілометри з того місця. Would you take a taxi? Ви взяли таксі, take a bus or walk or cycle. So, 4. If you had a picnic on the beach, what would you do with your rubbish? Якби у вас був пікнік на пляжі, що б ви зробили зі сміттям? So, would you leave your rubbish on the beach? Ви б залишили його на пляжі. Would you put your rubbish in the first bin you found? Чи викинули б ви його до першої сміття місця, так би мовити, мусорки? Так, and take your rubbish home. Чи забрали б сміття додому? 5. If you had $1,000 to spend. Якби у вас було витрати, гроші, так, $1000. На що б ви їх витратили? Would you buy a fur coat? Ви купили шубу. Я гадаю, шубу, я не знаю, ми, можливо, не купимо за такі гроші. Would you go on a safari? Чи поїхали ви на сафарі? Would you adopt a dolphin? Чи ви б взяли дельфіна? От, чесно кажучи, я жодного із варіантів не обрала. Не хочеться ні шуби, ні сафарі, ні дельфіна вдома. Окей. So, це кінець, так, нашої вікторини, нашого квізу. І так, keys, ключі. Mostly A's, якщо у вас більшості A варіанти відповіді. You are not very green, are you? Please look after our world before it's too late. Ви не зелений взагалі. Ви не eco-friendly. Будь ласка, слідкуйте за нашим світом перед тим, як стане занадто пізно. Викидати сміття на дорогу, це, звичайно, це ще і просто невихованість. Mostly B's. So, you are trying to be more green, but you don't always get it right. Learn more about the environment. Це такий серединка. Ви намагаєтеся бути зеленим, eco-friendly, але ви не завжди робите це правильно. Вчіть більше про навколишнє середовище. Mostly C's. Well done. Молодець. Якщо більше варіантів C, то ви молодець. Можливо, я б теж молодець, але оце adopt a dolphin, це в мене трошечки... Що ж мені з ним робити? Adopt a cat, там добре. Adopt a dog, but not a dolphin. You're really green. We need more people like you to help us save our environment. Нам потрібно таких людей більше, як ви, аби зберегти навколишнє середовище. Окей. Well done. I hope that you are mostly B's and C's. Сподіваюся, що більшість із вас B або C обрали відповіді, звичайно. So, task 2. Read about some environmental problems and possible ways out of them. Прочитайте проблеми з навколишнім середовищем і можливі виходи, так, шляхи виходу з них. І так, water pollution. People shouldn't leave litter in the streets. Plants shouldn't dump chemical waste. Concentration. The number of cars should be reduced. Треба обрати, що від цього підходить, да? Plants shouldn't dump chemical waste into rivers, atmosphere and on land. Оце у нас water pollution. Plants мається на увазі заводи, не рослини. Заводи не мають викидати, так, хімічні відходи оці в ріки, в атмосферу, на землю. Далі, air pollution, забруднення повітря. The number of cars should be reduced. Так? The number of cars should be reduced. Кількість машин має бути зменшена. Land pollution. People shouldn't live litter in the streets. Люди не повинні залишати сміття на вулиці. І, до речі, до air pollution, concentration of smoke in the air should be controlled. Це також. Так, підходить сюди. І до land pollution підходить ще plants shouldn't dump chemical wastes on land. Так? Disruption. Disruption – це як порушення перекладається. So, we should stop killing animals. Yes, we should control maybe concentration of smoke in the air. Так, and global warming – глобальне потепління. So, the number of cars should be reduced, concentration of smoke in the air should be controlled. Я думаю, що тут декілька підходить варіантів до різних абсолютно проблем. Yes, so, these way outs can match maybe several environmental problems, yeah? Okay, so, match problems with their solutions and write as in the example. Use second conditionals. If plants didn't dump chemical waste into rivers, there wouldn't be water pollution. So, if the concentration of smoke in the air were controlled, so we wouldn't have air pollution, or there wouldn't be air pollution. So, if we stopped killing animals, there wouldn't be disruption. So if we reduced the number of cars, so there wouldn't be global warming. Yeah. Okay, so write down these examples. Task 3. So read the sentences carefully, then refer disasters A to J to their descriptions. Отже, треба прочитати опис кожної катастрофи і поєднати їх з назвою. Окей. Отже, fire – пожежа, typhoon, earthquake – землетрус, tidal wave – це прилив хвилі, або її ще називають приливна хвиля, volcano – вулкан. А що це за disaster volcano? Eruption – це, в принципі, про disaster, але ж не вулкан, це є катастрофа. Окей. Drought – посуха, sandstorm – піщана буря, landslide – зсув, flood – повінь, famine – голод. So several people were walking along when suddenly tons of earth came crashing down the hillside and blocked the road in front of them. Декілька людей йшли вздовж, просто йшли, так, коли зненацька тони землі почали падати з пагорба і блокувати дорогу перед ними. Отже, це у нас landslide, зсув. Over 50,000 people in Ethiopia have died of starvation in the past month. Questions are being asked concerning the delay in supplies of rice and grain which were recently sent to them. Famine – голод. Ой, вибачте. Да. Ви все правильно поставила. Famine. Отже, більше 50 тисяч людей в Ефіопії померли через голод. Так, минулого. Starvation, I'm starving, це коли як hungry, так? Від відчуття цього голоду за минулий місяць. Питання, які сьогодні ставляться, пов'язані, чому, так? З причиною, з ділей, затримкою поставок рису та зерна. Так, далі. The winds have already strengthened considerably and the sea is now very rough indeed. As a result, ferries across the harbor have stopped sailing and all large ships have put out to sea. So it's typhoon. Вітер так почав збільшуватися, і море зараз дуже rough, неспокійне також. І в результаті пароплави, які йдуть через пролив, зупинилися. Так, і усі великі кораблі have put out to sea. Вийшли до моря, так, тобто відв'язалися і поїхали Okay, and all large ships have put out to sea. Так, це тайфун. Great, next. The river overflowed in several places and huge areas of farming land are now several feet under water. Boats are ready to rescue, рятувати people in nearby villages. Ну, це у нас flooding. Так, це у нас повінь. Flood. Так, а яка у нас там flood? Ай, так здається. Ой, ай. Отже, річка вийшла зі своїх берегів, та в деяких місцях і великі місця фермерських угідь зараз просто під водою на декілька футів. Човни готові спасати, рятувати людей у селах. Suddenly the ground shook beneath our feet and the tall building opposite the college began to sway. Windows and doors rattled and several bookcases in the college library came crashing down. Okay, earthquake. Sea, earthquake. Отже, слово у нас sway, як ви бачите, є в зносках хитатися. Отже, зненацька земля почалася трястися так під нашими ногами, і велика будівля напроти коледжу почала хитатися. Sway. Окей. Так. Вікна і двері брязкали, і декілька книжних шаф у бібліотеці коледжі came crashing down, розбилися, впали. 6. Tankers full of water were sent, but it was too late to save many of the animals and crops there. The whole area was like a vast desert. Танкери, наповнені водою, були відправлені. Було занадто пізно спасти багато тварин і угідь. Так, уся місцина перетворилася на велику пустелю. Отже, це у нас drought, засуха. І drought. So, smoke poured out of the crater, but no one expected an eruption. A week later, however, a red-hot lava began to flow down the side of the mountain. Ну, це у нас volcano. Написано volcano, але ми розуміємо, що це ж eruption. Так, тільки подивилася і забула. F. Okay. Next. It swept onwards, covering everything on its path. The travelers had to get off their camels and lie down until it had eventually passed. Це піщана буря, мабуть. Sandstorm, yes? G. Sandstorm. G. G. Все, це те, що змітало усе на себе, на своєму шляху. Onwards, це коли воно йшло вперед, так? Покриваючи усе на своєму шляху. Подорожуючи, had to get off, мали зійти зі своїх верблюдів і лягти до того, як воно завершилося. Так, flames swept through the block of office, burning everything inside. 2 hours later, only an empty shell of the building remained. Fire. A. Fire. Так, and the last one, it must have been at least 20 feet high as it swept towards the shore. In a few seconds, it destroyed all the houses on its way, drawing everyone inside. Drawing – це потонуло, це хвиля. Прилив у цей. Tide, tidal wave. D. Okay, well done. So, now let's read the pieces of newspaper information and refer them to the disasters. Тобто знову таке ж саме завдання, в принципі. І так, floods, повені, typhoon, eruptions, виверження, and tropical storms. A. Storm activity in the tropical regions of the northern hemisphere increased with typhoon, Faya, and hurricane Cosm forming and at opposite sides of the Pacific. Hurricane Chantal briefly threatened the Bahamas and Bermuda before losing force. Ну, це tropical storms, тропічні шторми. A. Tropical storms. B. Minor eruptions continued to worry residents of the British Caribbean colony of Montserrat 1 week after the activity began. Ну, eruptions – це вже eruptions, ну, зрозуміло. B. Окей. Виверження вулкану. Indonesia's Mount Semeru volcano, the tallest mountain on Java, sent clouds of steam soaring almost 4 miles high and blanketed its western slope with ash. An eruption of Semeru in early 1994 killed 7 people. Colombian officials advised residents around the Nevada del Ruiz volcano to remain alert following an increase in seismic activity within the 17,700-foot mountain. So, C. Monsoon floods that have swept across almost half of Bangladesh since early July have killed people and destroyed nearly 10,000 homes. So that's floods. Floods. C. Усі тут слова є. C. So, swirling waters also carried away thousands of cattle and damaged 1,000 bridges. Cattle – це тваринництво, так? In neighboring India, floods covered almost all of the Kaziranga National Park and have killed several rhinoceros and other endangered species. Тобто, добралася повінь ще і до парків, там, де постраждали тварини. A large number of elephants have migrated to the nearby Karpyk and long hills to escape the floods. Так, слони втекли. І останнє у нас, звичайно, виходить, що це у нас typhoons. More than 50 people were reported missing or dead after typhoon Fax tore into the southern coast of South Korea, sending mountainous waves smashing into ships and ports. Okay. So, typhoon is D. B. Work in groups and discuss the following questions. So, what information is offered in these short newspaper notes? Яка інформація нам дається? Так пропонується у цих коротеньких нотатках. So, these short newspaper notes discuss about the natural disasters such as tropical storms, eruptions, floods, and typhoons. How often do you read or hear similar information? Як часто ви стикаєтесь з такою інформацією? I think every day I hear this information in news. What are possible consequences of different natural disasters? Які у нас можуть бути наслідки, так? So, I think destroyed houses and buildings and killed animals and people, of course, unfortunately. What measures can be taken to avoid natural disasters? Як уникнути природних катастроф? So we have to defend and protect our environment. And of course, be careful. Be careful. Okay, so role play the situation in pairs. Imagine you live in a place which has been affected by one of the disasters. Уявіть, що ви живете в місті, яке було, в принципі, на яке вплинула одна з катастроф природних. A friend is going to call you to ask how are you. Товариш телефонує, аби запитати, як у вас справи. You're going to tell her what's happened. А ви збираєтесь розповісти йому, що трапилось. Before you start, think of 5 questions you expect her to ask you about the situations. Перед тим, як почати, придумайте 5 питань, які ви очікуєте, що він може вам поставити, так, з приводу цієї ситуації. Change the roles and role play another similar situations. А потім поміняйтесь ролями і розіграйте подібну ситуацію ще. Ну і приклад діалогу ось у нас є. So, dialogue between reporter and flood victim. So, hello, I'm a reporter of the channel. So, you are thanked because people hardly come to see our miserable condition. So, how long have you been living in the platform? We have been living here for 7 days. How is your life? Hundreds of people in our village have been leading a very miserable life. Can you help us in any way? Sure, the present condition of the distressed people of this area will be telecast through our media so that the environment and other concerned organizations can become aware of the real picture of the flood victims. I'm optimistic to hear from you. Anyhow, are you getting any aid from any corner? So, some NGOs have given us some relief goods, but the quantity is scanty and it's very sad that we did not get any help from the government till now. So really, it's very sad. The government should have taken prompt measures to reduce the suffering of the flood victims. Yes, if the government took immediate steps, our sufferings would not be so much. Anyhow, what sort of help do you need? We need both food and medical treatment. Medical treatment is essential because by this time, different diseases have already started spreading. Thank you for giving us the exact picture of the flood victims. You are welcome. So, it's one kind of the dialogue. Ну і ось подібний діалог about earthquake. Yes. Hi, how are you? I'm fine, and you? How did you feel when the earthquake shook the whole city last night? Oh yes, I was terrified with the tremor. I just can't forget the shaking of the earth. I can't understand what happened to you. Oh my God, that must have been a disastrous moment of my life. What were you doing at that time? I was in my reading room when the tremors started. I took shelter under my table in fear, and I was there till the tremors were going on. You did the right thing. I was also in my reading room when it happened. Some of my neighbors were so scared that one of them fell down on the stairs. Oh, it's terrible. First the earthquake and then that accident. Was she badly hurt? No, she bumped her head only, so we gave her ice. She was quite well after some time, but that got me thinking how safe we will remain in the event of the major earthquake. Oh, yes, think about the buildings of the city. The builders hardly follow any code of construction. You are right, most of the buildings of the city may collapse during an earthquake of a magnitude of 7 to 8 on a Richter scale. Oh my God, I can't even think about the people in them. Can you guess what will happen to them? Yes, it will cause heavy loss of lives and properties. The authorities should strictly develop a code for destruction of buildings to minimize the losses. Yes, and all buildings should follow the code for construction as mandatory. Thank you very much for such a nice discussion. Goodbye. You're welcome. Bye and see you again. Task 6, so work in pairs. Read about the disasters in the box and discuss the questions below. Прочитайте назву катастроф і дайте відповіді, так, які у нас є нижче. So, avalanche, лавина, коли сходить, так? Flood, повінь, landslide, сув, цунамі, earthquake, землетрус, forest fire, пожежа, tornado, торнадо, volcano, volcanic eruption, drought, засуха, and hurricane, ураган. Have you any of these natural disasters ever happened in Ukraine? When? How serious were they? Yes, we have. It was flood. Yes, and it was very serious. Have you heard any news stories about them happening anywhere else in the world? Yes, of course. There are lots of floods around the world. Unfortunately, yes. So, which of the disasters do you think are the acts of God? Which of them are sometimes the result of human actions? I think that deforestation can cause maybe flooding sometimes. When we speak about the Carpathians, for example. So have any of the countries near Ukraine suffered a national tragedy recently? Yes. Yes. Turkey. Actually, I'm recording this video in February 2023. Yes, and several days ago, it was just very dangerous, tragic disaster with people in Turkey. Yes, there was an earthquake, and there are lots of victims, unfortunately. Yes, in this country. So, would you feel comfortable going on holiday somewhere that had been affected by a disaster? Why not? Чи почувались би себе комфортно, коли ви поїхали кудись, там, де може бути, там, де було, да, вже катастрофа? So, of course, I wouldn't feel comfortable. And I wouldn't go to these places, maybe. Okay. So, and the last page, 161. So, task 7. Work in groups, read what some scientists say and explain how you understand their words. Agree or disagree, explain your opinions. Earthquakes, landslides, floods, these hazards are part of the way the Earth operates. Although we can't prevent natural hazards from happening, we can learn from them and use this knowledge to prevent them from turning into natural disasters. The century we have studied recently gives us a new chance to apply the lessons we have learned about natural hazards. As we look ahead, we must continue to improve both our understanding of how the Earth works and our ability to provide timely and effective warning so that we can live safely on our planet. So actually I agree with this statement. Yes, I agree. So we need to get acquainted with our Earth and we need to research it. We need to understand it. And of course, a human being so must be careful. We have to be good learners, maybe, to deal with all maybe hazards. So, task 8. Write a paragraph about the most terrible weather you have ever experienced. Напишіть про найбільш жахливу погоду, коли ви яку-небудь переживали. Погоду. Weather. Мається на увазі, що це може бути що? Heavy rain, storm, maybe, yeah, or maybe blizzard. Також приклад такого листа у нас є. So, describe a bad weather experience. I recall one time about 5 years ago when we experienced some bad weather. The weather had been very bad all week, especially the heavy rain. It was the end of the week, maybe Thursday evening while we were in English class, and a terrible storm was happening outside. There was thunder and lightning and torrential rain. Тобто постійно йшов дощ. As we were sitting there in class, some water started to drip through the ceiling into the class. Вже почало, наприклад, водичка йти вже через стелю. At first it didn't seem very serious, and the teacher called for someone to come and clean it up while we continued with the lesson. But within 10 minutes we had to evacuate the classroom because the slow drip became much worse. Уже маленьке те, що капало зі стелі, перейшло у щось більше. We were waiting outside in the corridor because our teacher had gone to try and find an alternative classroom so we could continue without any problems. Then suddenly we all heard a loud crash from inside the classroom. When we looked inside, we couldn't believe our eyes. A large part of the ceiling had fallen into the classroom, and there was debris everywhere. Debris, завали були. Отже, впала стеля. When the teacher returned a few minutes later, we told her what had happened. She looked in the room and then started to laugh. Then we all started laughing and saying how lucky we were to have left the room before it happened. Then the school manager appeared to see what was going on, and when he saw the big hole in the roof, he had a look of amazement on his face. After a few minutes, we relocated to another classroom to continue our lesson. Some of the school staff tried to clear up the mess and collect the water coming through the big hole in the roof. Luckily, the next few days were dry, the storm had passed, and the school had to close off that section so that they could repair the roof outside. But we'll never forget what happened. We could have been sitting there in the room when it happened if we hadn't decided to try and find another room. Окей. Чудовий приклад вживання, до речі. Conditionals. Чудова розповідь. Можете її взяти за приклад написання своєї. У нас було таке, коли було багато снігу, і в якийсь момент також він розтанув, протікла стеля ця, і трошечки так теж було. Ну, не зовсім там впала, прям діра була, але так, було таке. На цьому це все. Goodbye, good luck. Зустрічаємося з вами на наступному уроці. Він буде у нас останній. Check your English. Ну, мається на увазі останній за 6-м юнітом. Goodbye, good luck. До зустрічі.